And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. LGD taking on Rattlesnake. I suspect we're going to have a remake, guys, just because we had a certain broadcaster not named Ayesee who wasn't in the correct slot whenever we started the server search. So not sure what the case is going to be. Regardless, I am going to go ahead and walk you through the picks and the bans as best as I can. We'll be keeping an eye at the top to see if players begin to disconnect or not. So we may just end up with a remake from all pick, which would be really unfortunate. I hate when that happens because it kind of screws our in-game viewership. They don't get any analysis during the draft and all that. So all of you in-game viewers that are listening to my voice right now, much love to you guys. Big shout-outs to you guys. And, of course, to everyone on the stream here at One More Game TV 2. As is, though, LGD gonna go ahead and say, you know what? We don't need Kabu on Clockwork. Nah, we don't want it. We don't want to deal with that. And I don't blame him a bit. Kabu, an absolute monster on Clockwork. And I mentioned before that if, you know, one of the awesome things about picking up an in-game ticket, which all of you should do for the G-1 league, by the way, but one of the awesome things, outside of being able to watch at your own convenience, at your own leisure with commentary in-game, is you can do stuff like, oh, you know what, I want to learn how to play Clockwork. I really want to see how that's done well at the highest level. And then you go, okay, Kabu plays an awesome Clockwork because Ayesee told me so. So then you go and look through the replays and you find a replay of Kabu on Clockwork, and then you can just watch it. You can just center the camera on him the entire game. And everything is cool. But just a suggestion, Lone Druid going to make it through again. Why do they not ban the Lone Druid? Ban the Lone Druid! Lone Druid. Probably, this is just off the hip. I haven't exactly been keeping stats. Where's Bruno when you need him? But I would be willing to wager that of every hero picked and banned throughout the entirety of Phase 2 and Phase 3 so far, Lone Druid has to have the highest success rate. Has to have the highest win rate. Keeper of the Light, certainly a nice hero to put with him. Push and counter push. On the other side, Rattlesnake going back to the well again with the Shadow Demon. No reason not to. Landon played a fantastic Shadow Demon in game number 1. Going to get the Magnus with the Darkseer. That is a deadly combination if ever I have seen one. And there's a lot that you can put with that to make it even more deadly. Any kind of AoE team fight potential is going to just love any hero, a Queen of Pain, hell, even a Gyrocopter, so on and so forth. You see a Magnus and a Darkseer, you're going to be a happy camper for that game. And I really like what Rattlesnake's doing already. Rattlesnake had a lot of magic damage, and we saw what happened when they actually were able to put it all together the way they wanted. They landed a 4-man RP, and LGD International just exploded. Like, right now, there are still pieces. There's a crack in the Earth's crust from how vicious that team fight was. No exaggeration, it is beneath my feet because I was stomping and jumping up and down. I was so excited. LGD going to answer back with a Juggernaut, a great hero to respond to what Rattlesnake has put together. And Juggernaut, a hero, is making a comeback in a big way. I mean, he never really fell off completely. He really saw his resurgence following the International too, thanks to Puppy and company over in Na'Vi. But for the most part, when I look at this lineup already out of LGD, 2 things stand out. 1, they're going to be able to push like hell. 2, it's going to be very hard to push into them. And 3, Juggernaut doesn't afraid of anything. He's a hero who, against this lineup that Rattlesnake has put together, against any magic damage-based lineup, just does not care. Because of Omni Slash, because of Blade Fury, his ability to bounce back and just turn a fight around after, even if he's caught out by an RP, his ability to just escape out of bad situations using Omni Slash, and of course the magic immunity that comes with Blade Fury, not to mention the amount of mid-game damage that Blade Fury can do. And what we're seeing Juggernauts do a lot more lately, and I actually haven't seen it here in G1. I've seen it a lot more in North American and European Dota. But what I think would really fit LGD's approach so far with these first 3 heroes in the Lone Druid and the Keeper is if he goes something like Drum's Shadowblade, not Battle Fury. But if he goes something like Drum's Shadowblade, or just some other kind of mid-game centric build that is going to allow him to capitalize on his potential in the mid-game, and then don't worry about the late game. Lone Druid is going to do just fine in the late game. There's almost no hero in the game that, all things being equal, is going to be more potent past 35 or 40 minutes. So don't worry about Juggernaut scaling there. Don't worry about Juggernaut doing anything but what he should in the early game. Get a couple of points in the healing ward, get him as much farm as you possibly can, possibly offensively tri-lane him here, which, I mean, anytime you see a Lone Druid pick up, the potential for the offensive tri-lane goes up immensely. And this is for all you kiddos at home looking to learn how to read drafts a little bit better. Lone Druid is a hero who excels in one-on-one situations, and the most safe and stable way to guarantee that he's in a one-on-one situation, not in mid lane. The reason he usually doesn't want mid lane is he doesn't have any inherent escape. He's not tanky until he hits 6. So it's very easy to gank him in mid early on if you're not very, very careful. So what you want to do is put him in a lane that has a lot of safety to it, but is still a one-on-one situation. The best way to do that is to put together an extremely strong offensive tri-lane and then make the enemy react to that. Make the enemy say, okay, it's obvious they're going to offensively tri-lane. We're just going to lose our tier 1. Our tier 1 in the safe lane if we don't put up a really solid defensive tri-lane against it, and then try to isolate the lone druid that way by forcing the enemy to react to your offensive tri-lane. And that looks like what we're going to have now. And this is very potent out of LGD if they do end up running a tri-lane composed of Keeper, Jugger, and Sand King. Now, Keeper of the Light is not the best in an offensive tri-lane. Well, let me rephrase that. He is not the best in an easy way in an offensive tri-lane. He struggles a lot more in a situation when he has to worry about his positioning that much more. He's a hero who needs to get in a good position, has to be protected a lot to really be able to get the most out of his long-range artillery nuke, a.k.a. Illuminate. But Chakra to go with Juggernaut and Sand King, that is absolutely devastating. So even if Keeper of the Light is not landing that many Illuminates, the fact that he's going to be able to get 2 points in the Chakra at level 3, just to keep Juggernaut's mana pool full, to keep Sand King's mana pool full, that makes this an unbelievably hard lane to deal with, because what is really the biggest mitigating factor for the success of a Juggernaut or a Sand King in any laning situation is the fact that as strong as as strong as Blade Fury is, as strong as Burrow Strike is, they're very mana-hungry spells. You can only use them once or twice before you're out of mana in the early levels. If you can take that out of the equation, all of a sudden, you've got a ton of kill potential. Now, Rattlesnake showing is an interesting pick to round things out with Kunkka. Been a while since I've seen a Kunkka pick up, I do believe. Now, a lot of things you can do with Kunkka, a lot of ways you can run him. He's an absolute terror to deal with in a tri-lane. And I would imagine, looking at the way that they put this together, it is going to be an a defensive tri-lane featuring Kunkka. Now, Kunkka is basically... He's just one of those heroes. You see him picked, and he's not hard to kill at all. He doesn't have any real good escape mechanism. Torrent is a semi-reliable disable, but, I mean, at best, it's a initiate on someone disable. It's not really a get yourself out of trouble disable for the most part. But with Shadow Demon, it becomes very easy to line up a perfect Torrent. So the kill potential going to be there for Rattlesnake again. But one of my concerns, once again, is just how reliant they're going to be on magical damage. They've got a lot that they can spam out, a lot of ways to do damage between Tidebringer, between Shockwave from the Magnus, as we saw in game number 1 as well. Queen of Pain, certainly with Sonic Wave, with Scream of Pain, so on and so forth. Darkseer's Vacuum Wall combination, very potent at all stages of the game, depending on how he wants to build himself. But Kunkka is not a great right-click carry past 30 minutes. He just isn't. I mean, obviously, if he gets way ahead, he can be. But for the most part, he and Queen of Pain very much in the same boat. They're heroes who need to be capitalized early on. The late game potential that a Lone Druid gives you that safety belt if you're in LGD International shoes right now. They are going to round out their lineup with another silencer pickup, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. I like that because they're actually going to be running Misery on it this time around. So we may be having something a little bit different come at us so far as the lanes. Got to see who God's going to be handling. Nope, they switched. Misery picked him, and then they switched immediately, so... That makes a lot more sense. I was going to say, with Misery on Silencer, and God is pretty much their full-time mid-hero player. So, but anyway, it is nil. Pycat is going to be making his way to the solo safe lane. Brax making his way down mid for the moment, but with God on Silencer again, that should end up being their mid player. So this is working out about as I would have expected. And Rattlesnake going to have quite a potent lineup to deal with the offensive tri-lane coming out of LGD, but it's going to be one of those situations where Rattlesnake has plenty to deal with it, but if they give up 1 or 2 kills, it's going to be disastrous. These heroes cannot fall behind in levels, and they've got 3 heroes that can all, hell, they've got 4 really. They can all viably run a solo mid or a solo long if up against a Lone Druid. So we'll have to wait to see exactly how they want to do this. They may just put Sag in the jungle to start out on the Darkseer, Queen of Pain mid, Kunkka in the defensive tri-lane as mentioned, and then offlane the Queen of Pain, or any number of things. I mean, I'm trying to think of all the ways that they could really reliably answer this without putting themselves at too much of a risk. And it is going to be Luo in bottom for the moment, so maybe not anticipating the offensive tri-lane. Sag has set up shop near the jungle, but also near mid. Lanham's there with him. Looks like it's going to be a Kunkka mid, as he's handled by Ayesee, and I'll run through the lineups in full momentarily. Kabu on the Magnus looks like he's going to be running the long lane, and they may end up going 1-2-1 with a Darkseer in the jungle. This actually looks like that's what they're going to do. And God actually isn't going mid. Huh, they're going to have Brax mid. And this isn't unheard of, but it is going to be problematic for a Juggernaut. Up against a Shadow Demon and a Kunkka, he is going to be taking some damage. He'll have his healing ward to rely on, of course. But with the 3 supports down here, Queen of Pain obviously not going to be having a happy time whatsoever. And waiting to see what exactly is going to be done here. If we're going to have to remake or whatever. I'm surprised we made it this far. I thought for sure we'd end up having a remake. But as it is for the moment, Brax here, 2-on-1 in mid. Going to be problematic for him. And we're going to see the Keeper already rotate his way over. And very aggressive play already coming out on Brax. He did have a haste rune. So let's see exactly what we're going to end up doing. Once again, very sorry, guys. Don't know that we're going to rejoin game, please. Reload. Okay. And we had a broadcaster who was unfortunately, yeah. A broadcaster unfortunately not in the right slot. Go play, says Misery. And we got haste level 1. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough call to make. I agree that this is not the proper way to do this. Not to slight G-1 in any way, shape, or form. Much love to those guys, but if you're going to remake, you remake before the lanes are shown. You don't remake 1 minute in. And no idea where we're going to be with this. Once again, I apologize on behalf of G1 and on behalf of absolutely everyone. Hope you guys are nonetheless enjoying the show here on One More Game TV 2. A lot of first-time viewers in the chat I saw today, so I want to thank you guys especially for being here. Hope you're enjoying your stay so far. Would love to have you back in the future. Make sure you hit follow here on One More Game TV 2. You can also follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Twitter, it's at Ayesee, at AYESEE. And on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/ACTV. And still looks like we're trying to determine what the proper course of action is going to be. Brax is already disconnected. And no, he's back. Also, check out your G1 hub, by the way, G1.2p.com. You've got your casting hub, no matter which casters are in the game, right, LD? But you've got your casting hub there. You've got lots of great interviews and articles. A new interview just went up today with PieCat. Really cool interview. Check that out, G1.2p.com. And still seems to be a little bit of debate as to what exactly we're going to do here. And I'm forced to agree with 1437. If there was going to be a remake, it should have happened 60 seconds ago. But totally support whatever decision our fantastic, hardworking admins happen to make. With some men. And looks like we're going to have a moment of downtime. Water closet, says Kabu. Smoke them if you got them, guys. Go get yourself a fresh beer if it's in the evening. Go get yourself fresh coffee if it's in the morning. Or, hell, just live the YOLO life. Go get yourself a fresh beer in the morning. Ain't nothing like beer with breakfast, man. Nothing like beer with breakfast. So, for the moment, I'm going to treat this, as I always do, as a rain delay. As an unavoidable delay. So, any questions you guys have, anything I can respond to, feel free to go ahead and type that out in the chat. I will get to it once the delay catches up. And I'm going to, in the meantime, for the next 2 minutes at least, until I can start reading the chat, keep an eye on this. Obviously, I don't read Chinese. But just a reminder, we are going to be in action every day for the next 2 weeks. So every morning, well, every morning if you're on my time, I guess, Eastern Daylight Time, 7:30 a.m. every morning, up until, I want to say, the 11th or the 12th of April. We're going to have one best-of-3 series here for you with the G1 Champions League, so make sure you bookmark One More Game TV 2 and or G1.2p.com. That way you can get your daily dose of Dota in the best way possible here at the G1 Champions League Asia Qualifier. Our next broadcast, again, will be tomorrow. And I actually got to check real quick, and I will check just so I have something useful to pass along to you. Will be Chain Stack in action against Zenith. Chain Stack, much like Rattlesnake, a surprise team who made it through the qualification stage in Phase 2. Chain Stack, led by the Ayesee, but composed of a slapdash squad of players from all over Southeast Asia. A fun team to watch and a really talented team. So hope you guys will tune in for that. Zenith looking so sharp in all of their matches so far throughout the Asia qualifier as well. Then on April 2nd, we'll have LGD China taking on Orange. A very highly ballyhooed match, and one that everyone's looking forward to above just about any others remaining, except perhaps that on April 3rd. April 3rd will be Invictus Gaming taking on Team DK. Talk about some royalty. Talk about the royal families of Asian Dota. Doesn't get a whole lot more highfalutin than Invictus Gaming and Team DK. So, and again, I mean, I read through all of the matches coming out in April. That's followed on the 4th by Orange versus LGD International. Then on 5th, we have DK back in action against Chains. Rattlesnake will be in action against LGD China. And if they get a win here, especially, that'll be one of the most important matches on the entire board. and then Zenith versus IG on the 7th. And then after that, we get into the last 3 days that'll determine who will survive Phase 3 and move on through the G-1 Champions League. So, looks like we still got a minute. Not sure what exactly the delay, the pause happens to be. But I will get to the questions. Looks like it is catching up now. Ayesee, where's Draskell? Is he dead? Asks Roosevelt. Draskell probably just sleeping, man. Draskell, very busy guy, doing amazing work with the GD Studio. Hope you guys are checking those guys out as well. But yeah, I mean, he's just a busy guy. He has a standing invitation to come here and broadcast for the G1 Champions League anytime he wants, and anytime he sends me a message, I will be very pleased to bring him onto the broadcast because I do miss my my Dras, miss my buddy. Let's see. What's your favorite Halo juice? So far, mine has been Tribeca. Asks OMG it's Rob, and that's in reference to the big long Reddit post I made for those. And I have no problem plugging this publicly. I was a 2-pack-a-day smoker for years. My health was beginning to not... I mean, my health was already not the best to begin with. I'm a pretty big guy. But I smoked a whole lot. I coughed all the time. I couldn't laugh without coughing. I mean, it was really unpleasant. I had that awful smell on me all the time. And I got into electronic cigarettes not long after. And obviously, I'm not recommending that people who don't smoke get into electronic cigarettes. Nicotine still does have negative health effects. But if you're a smoker and you want to change your life and you want to get away from the cancer, you want to get away from the death sentence that is regular cigarettes, e-cigarettes are the way to go. No doubt about it. And Halo E-Juice, my favorite E-Juice. So that's what OMG It's Rob is referring to. Tribeca is good. I actually have a bottle of Tribeca next to me. I tried a new flavor just today. It's Turkish tobacco, and Turkish tobacco is delicious. My favorite, though, is Bella Valetti. Let's see. Someone... Let's see. Spectate the game stream without delay. I'm add delay to a stream if he knows how. Yep. Very unfortunate what's happened. Still not sure what the result's going to be. AC, love you too, Boonwen. Come on, guys, ask questions. I'm here. Wants to hear questions. This is our rain delay show. You're on One More Game TV too. Yeah, it seems like the consensus coming out of the chat is they should not remake. I don't want to leave LD behind, though. LD and Beyond the Summit, the primary English language casters who have so graciously allowed me to broadcast the G1 as well. And so whatever needs to be done to make sure the BTS and LD have the chance to broadcast, I understand. I feel like, though, if there's a mistake that's been made, it's that the game should have been re-hosted immediately, not 60 seconds in. Looks like I'm the last one remaining, huh? All right, guys, I will be right back. Sorry about that. And I was talking to you guys. But anyway, we'll be right back. Game number 2 of this best of 3, resuming just moments.
I didn't know that you loved me like you. I didn't know that you cared like you do. I feel 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 like you do. I didn't love feel like you do. I didn't feel that your love feels like you do. I didn't love feel like you do. I didn't feel that your love feels like you do. I didn't love feel like you do. I didn't feel that your love feels like you do. I didn't love feel like you do. I didn't feel that your love feels like you do. I didn't love feel like you do. I didn't feel that your love feels like you do. I didn't
Prepare for battle.
And we're back. And yeah, looks like we already have a disconnect. So, see, always it knocks me out of my rhythm. So see, and we're back. Game number 2 of this best of 3 LGD taking on Rattlesnake. Blah, 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 blah. You can't do that. Can't do it whenever you immediately have a disconnect and a pause. Gosh, get it together, guys. Get it together. Either way, do have a great game on the way. Rattlesnake taking on LGD International. and anxious to see what the result of all this is going to be. This is an all-pick remake, of course, so sorry to our in-game fans who are going to get the draft analysis, that hard-hitting draft analysis I know you buy the ticket for out of me, Ayesee. But nonetheless, we had some real interesting lanes already beginning to take shape on the side of Rattlesnake. I really liked what LGD International had decided to do with their offensive tri-lane. And switching things up, sending God out of the mid lane. You know, very interesting. And seeing the Juggernaut go mid, this is something a Juggernaut can do that a lot of hard farming, agility, carry / semi-carry heroes really can't do reliably. And it's because he has the skill set just innately. By the time he's level 2, he's got 2 excellent skills that give him the 2 most essential things to have in terms of a mid, soaking up the experience and getting last hits. First of all, he has the escape mechanism that is Blade Fury. Blade Fury, of course, makes you magic immune. So having that ability to rely on that to get you out of trouble, to even to do some damage if they engage on you and you feel like you might be able to swing blow for a little while. Then you have your healing ward that he'll be getting up at level 2. And having that, and he actually went bottle first. Wow. Just noticed that. Getting his bottle up very much at the beginning. And yeah, that's interesting. That's something you almost never see at the pro level. And it's really not considered that solid in most situations on most heroes, but of all the heroes that can do this, Juggernaut, again, is one of the better ones, because the reason you don't go bottle first, for those who are wondering and those who maybe do it in their pub games or what have you, you don't do that because bottle charges are great, you know, getting your mana, your health back up, but it's easy to harass someone who goes bottle first and just burn through those mana charges very quickly, and you're not going to have a chance to refill it outside of bottle crowing until later on. And getting a bottle crow going early, that's always going to be a good choice for any mid hero that happens to have a bottle. But it's just real easy to make sure that the mid that does go bottle first runs out of regen pretty quickly. But in the case of Juggernaut, he's not going to run out of regen once he hits level 2. He'll have his healing ward if he really needs it. That'll buy time for him to bottle crow. And yeah, we're going to have a disruption on him immediately. And Brax just doesn't care. He's going to move forward and Omni Slash. Get himself one last hit. He's actually in trouble here, taking a lot of damage and being forced all the way back. So Brack's going to be up against it in that mid lane. Down here at bottom, we see the decision to go ahead and run these lanes exactly as they had panned out before. Going to be okay. Pycat going to be able to do a lot of damage to Kabu to keep him away from experience range, at least for a little while. But Kabu with Shockwave will eventually be able to get a little bit of gold, if not a ton. But that's very much a lane. And wow, Kunkka actually got first blood in mid. Did not expect that. First blood on the board very quickly. And I usually pride myself on not missing many first bloods. That one I just did not expect at all. The kill potential in this lane is there with the torrent, and I'm going to guess followed up the disruption. But with Omni Slash, Brax should be able to get away. And geez, they're going to get another kill in bottom while I'm watching mid. In the meantime, Brax is in trouble again using the healing ward. There's the disruption. And yeah, he's going to be cleaned up again. Oh no! Ayesee! Ayesee did not follow through with the last auto attack. That should have been a death, but instead, Brax manages to make it away once again. So 1-1 after the return kill on the Queen of Pain in bottom. Luo going to be having some struggles down here, most likely. And the big question now becomes, how long is LGD going to allow this lane to stay standing? We're going to see a rotation to mid now out of our Keeper of the Light. Lanham down below half health. Could scarcely afford to eat an Illuminate. But 1437. Dropping a ward here as well on the easy camp. Now going to rotate his way up, and we're going to see... Okay, Brax just grabbing himself a haste rune. He is bottle crowing, so the bottle out of his inventory already. 1437. Now heading north, and it looks like they're in no hurry. Yeah, this is going to work out just fine for LGD. Rotating the Keeper of the Light elsewhere. They're going to keep him closer to mid, probably put him in the jungle here. I don't think the Lone Druid really needs his help, but if they really want to focus on holding the Magnus down, he will be able to apply pressure. Sag has made his way up as well, so both teams putting a bit more emphasis now on this top lane. Brax stabilizing a little bit down in bottom. We can see Misery spotted out by Luo, but Sandstorm makes it easy to keep yourself safe. And God just happy to take all the free farm in the world under his own tower. Up here at top, we're going to have a skewer that's going to catch Pycat. Pycat at half health. 1437's there, and yeah, they're going to stay on him. The Surge allowing him to do damage, and Pycat slowly eating all this damage. Is going to salve himself back up. And Kabu salving himself back up as well. Up now, there's the Surge. Here comes 1437. Pycat will be chased down. So this top lane, actually this whole game, going quite well for Rattlesnake right now. They lost their Queen of Pain, and that stinks. But the fact that they're able to get the first blood in mid, and now Magnus able to pick himself up a kill. Well, I guess technically it was the Ion Shell, so Darkseer got it. But still, being able to bring down a Lone Druid at this stage of the game, absolutely essential in keeping him under control in the mid game. Now, yeah, we can see, I mean, Orb of Venom up on the Bear, but not much else. Only 260 gold on Pycat. 4 minutes in, they're quite happy with the way that lane's going so far, I would say. Down here at bottom, Misery is beginning to soak some experience from God. God at level 4 right now. In mid, level 4 for Ayesee. Lanham's level 4 as well. They have been more or less evenly splitting that experience. Juggernaut just on par at level 4 as well because of that first blood and because of the trouble he had earlier. Using his Blade Fury to soak up a little bit of experience and a little bit of last hits when and where he can. And that's something else you can use the hero for. Sag is going to take this double damage rune away from him this time. He's got himself up now. He will be spotted by Misery. He's going to eat an auto attack, and Misery just going to continue to auto attack for the moment. He's got help coming. Sag will be able to surge himself away, and I'm actually surprised Juggernaut did not pursue that out. He was right behind Misery, and I said he had help coming that just never showed up, but with Surge, understandably so, he's going to be able to surge himself away, no biggie. God has gotten treads again. And here in mid, we see that healing ward keeping Brax in fighting shape. Illuminate will come out, do a little bit of damage. So 1437 doing his best to keep Brax up and fighting. Being able to contribute Chakra to Brax's mana pool, absolutely essential as well. Going to reduce the need for bottle crowing. Going to take a little bit of emphasis off of rune control. And we are going to see the bottle being crowed a bit still yet. But so long as Misery, 1437 stays in range, he's going to be able to help Brax out a ton. Now we're going to see Misery spotted out. Spins his Burrow Strike, and now here comes God. They're going to engage. There's the Blink, and Luo going to be surged away. In the meantime, Ion Shell damage being done by Sag. Can they catch him? Not enough for a Burrow Strike. Here's Brax. Brax is there to help clean that up. And Silencer got the kill there. Now, Silencer being involved in a lot of early kills is actually a pretty big deal. And it's much like the Pudge effect. Because of the way Glaives of Wisdom work, we can already see he soaked up 2 total stolen intelligence there. So that's going to help him with his mana pool. It's going to help him with his right-click damage, such as it is. And him being, again, involved in that kill. I mean, it's just 2 intelligence, sure, but that's basically 2 free Iron Branches into his main stat. And every time he can just be a part of these kills, gonna be a big win for LGD. 2-2. We got 4 kills on the board in a 6-minute game. Brax and 1437 now moving together. In mid, Lanham basically by himself. Ayesee did manage to make it away before Brax is able to catch him. Brax not quite level 6. We'll have Omni Slash up soon, though. There's an Illuminate. It's going to catch Ayesee on his way back out of the river. Back up at top. Kabu doing really well for himself following that gank on Pycat. He's actually higher level than Pycat is right now. And aside from that, 15 last hits, given he's up against Pycat, and there has been some pressure up here. That's really quite solid. Invisibility Rune picked up on the Juggernaut. He may use it here. Nope, just going to walk back to lane. Thought he might use it and try to catch someone napping in mid, but as is, Kabu playing a great game of Dota. He's going to have RP ready to roll whenever he wants and or needs it. And he's already got his bottle up. Not quite to treads, though. Still a decent amount of gold away from treads, but that bottle, understandably, essential for him to maintain himself in this lane. Ayesee now being zoned out a little bit. He's almost level 6 as well. Pycat is a little past 6, so Omni Slash is going to be available. And we see him use that Invis Rune. Maybe looking to get a kill on Sag as he retreats here. Omni Slash, he's got the mana for it. And Sag's actually going to head to the high ground. And in the meantime, we got more movement up here. Here comes the Shadow Demon. And Juggernaut's going to spot them both. He may just Omni Slash Sag here. And he will. There you go. Easy kill pickup. Now, though, there's a skewer. He doesn't have the mana to get himself away with the Blade Fury. Big mistake there. Did not have the mana to get himself away. Now we're going to have a disruption catch and Keeper of the Light. No follow-up, though. Just no way to do damage following that up. 3-3, 1-for-1. Darkseer traded for Juggernaut. About even on both sides, I would say. Juggernaut, not the biggest target on the map. That would be your Lone Druid, but certainly a nice pick-off to get. Queen of Pain is almost level 6, has not had the best farm, sitting at just 12 near the bottom. Keeper of the Light actually has more last hits than she does, but has been soaking experience fairly effectively. And obviously you want the best of both worlds, but if you can only get one, experience is by far the best to be getting on your Queen of Pain. She needs early levels. Now we're going to have last word used. Kabu's there, and he's going to be spotted out. He's got an RP if he wants to use it. Misery's very low. He's just level 4. There's the skewer, and he thought, I guarantee he thought about RPing there. Decided not to pull the trigger, though. So Kabu coming to help Luo out a little bit. We've got 2 back in mid on the side of Rattlesnake. Ayesee joined by Lanham. And still, 1437, spending a lot of time on this piece of territory. Brax not spending nearly as much time in lane now. And it looks like they're going to go for a gank on bottom. We've got 2 more rotating over. And God looking for the same thing. He's got a global silence if he wants. There we go. There's the burrow strike. And going to use last word. And no follow-up, though. Really surprised they didn't commit a little more heavily to that. In the meantime, in mid, see a little paint being traded. 1437. Going to be able to counter-push this out. The healing ward certainly doesn't hurt. Pycat benefiting from this more than anyone on the map because he's now in a lane that's completely unoccupied. And we can already see he's closing the ground in terms of last hits very quickly. He's up to 40, just 10 or 8 off the lead, actually, at this point. And here we go. They're going to go for it. There's the RP. Got a boat. Shockwave follows it up, making a double kill. Brax is going to land, but a day late and a dollar short. No way he could help his buddies out. Great RP, and Kabu continues to be such a fantastic playmaker. Kuka's going to get a kill on Keeper of the Light in the mid in the meantime. And Rattlesnake thought about diving Brax. Brax will be able to make it away. But an excellent RP gives Rattlesnake the kill lead once again. Now, looking ahead to the mid game, Pycat has caught up. He's in pretty good shape here. I mean, obviously dying when he died is problematic. But he has his phase up on the bear. He's got his Orb of Venom. He's got a set of tier 1s on himself. And that's often one of the bigger humps to get over in the early game on a Lone Druid. It can just feel like forever getting just some boots up on you in the bear. After that, things seem to come a little more quickly. You're able to move in and out of the jungle a little bit better. You're not quite as gankable as you are when you're just sitting on bare feet. Bare feet. I made a pun and didn't mean to. Anyway, Rattlesnake is going to smoke up. And they are going to look to put some pressure on the bear. The bear and his owner. And Pycat just kind of hanging back here, letting the bear do the work. And this is where you can see Lone Druids get into trouble. They're often so focused on... Oh, wow, they're going to reveal themselves. There's a Demonic Purge. Kabu does not have RP ready. There's a Torrent that's going to connect as well. TP reaction's coming. The boat will connect. Pycat might end up... Yep, he will end up dead. Now the return kill on Ayesee very much on the menu. Kabu trying to help out as little as he can, but that double damage on Ayesee. Ayesee's still doing a lot of damage. Shadow Demon going to re-engage, and Brax can't follow it up. They end up getting nothing out of that. Check that. Keeper of the Light there with an Illuminate to help bring Ayesee down. Ayesee with that DD just hitting so hard. So they end up going 1-for-1. Druid for Kunkka. That's a win for Rattlesnake again. Getting the Druid off the map, so important in any stage of the game, but especially in these early stages. Make him feel uncomfortable. And now a disruption. Gonna catch Keeper of the Light. And the Skewer's actually gonna be off the mark. Rare misstep out of Kabu. Kabu, I would argue, is probably the biggest playmaker on the entire Rattlesnake squad. Does not miss opportunities like that often. And that was a costly one. Because now we have Pycat back up and running. He has RP up now. Shadow Demon, though, very low on mana. Arc Boots ready in 25 seconds to help get him back in fighting shape. They may just decide to push here. And this is what you expect to see out of a Juggernaut. He's got 3 points into his healing ward. Cooldown not quite there, but they're not going to need it. They may push through to tier 2 and force a fight here. God brought in courtesy of Keeper of the Light. 1437. The name of the train. That's the train number that brought him in, apparently. But LGD, now with all of their attention on this top lane, they've got the bear to tank through this tower damage, and in it goes. He's got 1 Glove of Haste on him, so a little extra attack speed. Demolish is part of the menu, and now we're going to have a Demonic Purge on Misery, and the Ghost Ship's actually just going to miss. There's a Global Silence. This is really poorly engaged out of everyone. They got the tower, so LGD obviously coming out ahead there, but that was really, just to be blunt, poor play on both sides. That was a total waste of the silence. The Demonic Purge accomplished nothing. The boat didn't connect. As is, though, Rattlesnake does lead in terms of kills. The gold just about even, though. We're talking 500 to the advantage of Rattlesnake, so they are still at least a little ahead. The experience where they're winning the battle the most, though, and that's really where they need to be, given the lineup they've drafted. The lineup of LGD is very much more item dependent. I mean, obviously levels are a part of that. But, you know, your Lone Druid needs items to really feel effective. Brax needs at least 1 more item, be it drums, be it Shadowblade, be it both. He needs, I would say drums really would be his best option right now. And we're going to see Luo eat a last word and take a lot of damage blinking away. But they have to not only stabilize in terms of levels, but in terms of gold. Rattlesnake is much more level dependent. They get so much stronger the more levels they have, to a point. And really, again, a late game farm fest is not what Rattlesnake is drafted for here. They need to win this game in practicality, if not in reality, by 30 minutes in. They don't want Lone Druid getting too big. And here comes Brax under cover of an Invis rune. Illuminate is going to catch Ayesee. And he doesn't have enough mana for an Omni Slash. That's a shame. And here we go. He's actually going to be caught out. RP. Going to catch Brax. Here comes Misery. There's the vacuum, though. Brings him in, and the boat will miss. Demonic Purge on Misery. He's going to Burrow Strike. Caught 3 with it. Illuminate will be lined up. And here comes the Sonic Wave. Cleans up the Sand King. Brax back from a buyback. Looking for a target. He's got Omni Slash in just a moment. Not going to spend it, though. So another big win for Rattlesnake. 9-4 now. And yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for this again. God now the target. That's a double kill as Brax is cleaned up. And God, X marks the spot. Enough to secure that. Rattlesnake making this work, and now with the mech complete. Mech freshly completed on SAG. They are a force to be reckoned with. And I mentioned this during the draft. This is what they wanted to be doing. This is when their team needs to be peaking. They need to be getting a big lead now and turn it into a win in the mid-game. In Game 1, their problem was they broke even with LGD International when they should have been winning. This time, at least for the moment, 15 minutes in, that's not the case. They are winning this game pretty handily. We see that gold spiking up towards 3,000 to their advantage. The experience, again, the more important factor, in my opinion, at this stage of the game. Just about 7,500 in their direction. Misery is just now level 6. So LGD International has been fighting without Epicenter for the most part. God actually picked up a set of drums. That's a unique pickup on a silencer. Drums is good on everyone. I've said that forever. But seeing him get that instead of a 4-staff is a little bit surprising to me. Even before mech, I feel like mech would be a huge benefit to them. They are going to smoke up and look to get something going in this bottom lane. They're going to have plenty of targets to pick from. The Bear's going to be able to spot at least one out. Yep, it's going to spot out Lanham. Should have gotten a look at Sag and Kabu. And now the Bear engaged upon. Here we go. They're going to catch both of them. Now the Shockwave. There's the global silence as well. Lanham forced to run, and the Epicenter got no one. Misery whiffed that completely. The Darkseer was cleaned up. Oh, the return RP. Caught 2 coming back out of the woodwork, though. We're going to see Misery drop. Pycat and Brax got to run. Little damage being done from God. There's a disruption to buy some time. Here comes the boat. Boat not going to catch anyone. No, it did catch Brax, actually. Now they're charging back out. 2 for 1 the current trade. Sag and Kabu traded off for Misery. And Brax now moving to the south. Trying to find Lanham. Lanham has been spotted out. Here comes Luo and Ayesee, though. They're looking for revenge. And the Sonic Wave. Only gonna get God. No, they actually got that with Tidebringer. Tidebringer from Ayesee getting the return kills. And now they're not done. Pycat gonna eat the Shadow Strike. Here comes Misery. Misery back up and ready to fight. Gonna catch Luo. Ayesee's there as is Sag. This fight just going on. Good vacuum brings him back. Scream of Pain does good damage, and it's enough to clean him up one more time with the help of Ayesee. 15-7. One of those fights that just kept going on. And LGD International digging themselves a deeper and deeper hole. Illuminate only going to buy so much time. Shockwave's there. Ion Shell, so on and so forth. 15-7. 22 minutes in. Excuse me, 17 minutes in, 22 kills on the board. They may re-engage here. Looks like they thought about it. And yeah, Brax was there, but not really, can't do anything by himself. They may try to go 1 for 1. In the meantime, in here in mid, Lanham is getting some farm and some much-needed experience. He's got himself a Ghost Scepter, which is a great pickup to have at 17 minutes. Shadow Blade was actually the pickup on Kunkka. Makes a lot of sense, the same reason I think it would make sense on a Juggernaut. I've yet to see what Jugs is going to pick up this time around. Brax not really with enough gold to be afforded that luxury. Now they're going to re-engage. Ayesee's there. There's a Scream of Pain. Blinding Lights there. Boat will catch no one. Sails right past Pycat. Sag's going to be pulling back. Luo spotted out as well. Now going to head to the south. Blink himself back in the lane. Finds the loving embrace of his teammates. Kabu is going to have an RP up again right now. Epicenter going to be up in 10 seconds. That Epicenter being more or less whiffed on by Misery really hurt them in that last battle. They got to have that out of him. And now Misery going to need a Demonic Purge. Illuminate's going to be there, but Lanham just basically doing harassment damage. The rest of Rattlesnake staying safely in the comfort of their tower. Mech going to get them back up and ready to fight. Brax has his ult up now too. This fight has more or less not ended. Just been an utter back and forth here in bottom. And now we're going to see Sax actually. So it's 4 on 5 if LGD decides to engage here. They don't know that yet. Ward is down. They're going to spot 3 moving through here. They know what's going on. And let's see if they can take advantage of it. Lanham continuing to spam out Shadow Poison while he can. Sag almost back to the base. He'll be able to TP right back. So if they're going to go, they need to go now. Luo has everything ready. Everything's off cooldown, and Mystery's actually going to miss with the Burrow Strike. He's going to be disrupted to follow it up. Illuminate and Torrent both off the mark. Their Shockwave doesn't do much but catch Brax. So nothing done yet, and Darkseer's back in the fight. Darkseer's going to catch him with a vacuum. Now the silence comes out. Here comes the Ghost Boat. We're going to see Misery have to make a run from Lanham. Brax able to retreat via the Blade Fury. In the meantime, the rest of the team spread out. And we're going to see Queen of Pain re-engage, get 1 kill. That's a mega kill and an RP. Going to catch Pycat. Sonic Wave to follow it up. And God going to try to make a run, and once again, unable to get away thanks to X marks the spot. Only 1 point, all they need. Down here, the fight rages. Brax still alive, not for long, though. Focus down, and that's a big wipe, big turnaround for LGD International. This bottom lane has been an absolute killing field. And that killing field favoring one team overwhelmingly. That's Rattlesnake. 19-8 as we approach 20 minutes now. That gold way up in favor of Rattlesnake. The experience almost into 5 digits now. Going to be a lot of ground LGD International has to cover. So far, Rattlesnake is executing their lineup just like they have to. 1437 has the headdress on his way to a mech. Really feel like a mech on the silencer instead of that initial set of drums would have been a big difference maker. He's actually on his way to a... Well, he's got the headdress recipe. We'll see what direction they want to go. Reckon 1437 could build a pipe. But yeah, the lack of a mech there, you know, you can't point to that and say that's exactly why it went the way it did. A lot of things led to that going the way it did. Misery unable to really capitalize on Epicenter in those 2 fights. I mean, you could consider that one very long fight if you want to. But not having the sustain that Rattlesnake does. Kunkka in great shape right now. We'll take a look at our net worth. He and Queen of Pain are on top. And Kunkka's way ahead in terms of net worth. I mean, the guy's just monstrous right now compared to the rest of the map. Shadow Blade on him, very important. In mid, we are going to see a tier 1 drop, so LGD not taking things lightly, not laying down quietly here in the mid game. They get themselves their 2nd tower of the match, and now Misery looking like he's ready to take another. Magnus has completed his Blink Dagger, the most essential item for any Magnus. Going to be a pipe for Sag on the way. Ghost Scepter done on Lanham again. I mentioned that. I love that pickup. Yule Scepter actually out from Queen of Pain. Now that's interesting to me. But I'll tell you what's awesome about it. It's the ability for her to use that Yules to take the bear out of the fight for a little while. To take Lone Druid's bear out of each and every fight. Just for a few seconds. That can often be the difference maker. That bear has his armlet done now. He's got that 2nd Glove of Haste, as I had mentioned, doing the what really I think has become the most typical build for Lone Druid now. Going with Phase plus Boots plus Orb of Venom, straight up the 2 Gloves of Haste. You build 1 into an armlet first, then you follow it up with a Maelstrom. Very solid way to get yourself from early game to mid game. Gives you a lot of push potential, gives you a lot of team fight potential for a relatively low cost. And of course, the Maelstrom builds into a Mjolnir heading towards the late game. So always, I mean, just good item choices. Taking a look at God. Yep, he will be getting himself... No, he's actually going to be building the mech. Let's see what 1437 is doing. Gonna guess again that he's on his way to a pipe. That would make the most sense since he has a 2nd headdress. We'll see, though. We will see. 22 minutes in. Rattlesnake more than doubling up their opponents right now. Jugger will find himself a double damage rune, so something they're going to want to put to use in the next 1 minute and 40 seconds, give or take, for sure. Still really want to see what he's going to end up doing. He's got 1,000 gold right now. Shadow Blade, I feel like, would be a good pickup. Drums would be just as good. If he was going to get drums, though, he would have spent at least a little bit of that on a bracer by now. The fact that he's not showing us a bracer tells me he's got other things in mind. Misery, still sitting on tier 1 boots. Has enough for arc boots. Now he's going to go right into a sandstorm. I'll tell you what, man. Misery's reaction time is sick good. Just sick good. In the meantime, we're going to have a kill here in mid. And yeah, they're going to manage to kill off both God and Juggernaut. I was watching Misery get engaged upon and miss the fight in mid. And now, Rattlesnake going to push through to the tier 2. Illuminate going to buy a little bit of time, but not a ton. That might be enough to ward them off, actually. Nope. 1 shot with that Shadow Blade on Kunkka and Ayesee, feeling quite tanky as well. He's actually already got a Crystallis up as well. He is sick big right now for a Kunkka. And absolutely essential. This is when Kunkka really feels the most dangerous. Super late game, not nearly as worrisome. But if he gets far enough ahead, I mean, he's just going to be awesome no matter what. Especially with Empower. I mean, the guy's hitting for 230 damage when he's empowered right now. So that deficit of right-click damage more than made up for by the fact that he's had a fantastic start. He's playing really well, farming really well. He's on top of the net worth chart. Not to mention Magnus doing what Magnus does, which is making other heroes more powerful. And X marks the spot. Gonna catch 1437. And, yep, they're going to follow it up. There's the Torn. Now they're going to re-engage. Can they get Ayesee? Off goes the Global Silence. Going to be rooted down, and the Illuminate going to catch Landham as he runs away. They're right on his tail. There's the Disruption. Blade Fury going to follow him out. God's right behind him. Kabu's there with the Blink Dagger if he wants. The Shadow Demon cleaned up in the meantime. Looking for a Skewer. Not going to find it. Couple of big turnarounds there, and that's what they needed. Nice step in the right direction. And Ayesee bought back, anticipating a Roche attempt, and that's exactly what they're going to see. Very good game sense to know that a Roche attempt, very likely. Going to be tough for them to challenge without Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon, very essential in these fights. His ability to take Brax out of the fight momentarily, following Blade Fury. Utterly essential. Roche is down below half. Let's see how much they want to commit to trying to challenge this. Misery spotted out, needs some damage. He's got an Epicenter ready to go if and when he wants to use it. Obviously doesn't want to use it now, or can't use it now when he's taking damage. Now he's going to be used by the Queen of Pain, and Sonic Wave's going to be there. Misery is cleaned up, though. So Queen of Pain makes it an even playing field. Actually, that's going to be to their benefit as Shadow Demon's now back up and ready to fight. Global Silence still on cooldown. 75 seconds, they're going to rush in. Roche at just about half, and Sand King buys back. Bears laying into Sag. Sag going to be forced out. Ayesee now going to be the target. Here comes Kabu setting up shop. And Misery back into the fight via Keeper of the Light. Best ability Keeper of the Light has, if you ask many pros. Now they're going to go for it. There's the RP. K2 walls down as well. Can they follow it up? Terrible place for LGD to be fighting, but there's the Epicenter. Finally, Misery able to do some damage. Forced to walk away, though, as his team could not re-engage off of it. Ayesee taking a lot of damage. Luo in trouble. Has enough mana for a blink if he wants it. Spins it on a Scream instead. Torrent's going to catch two. That's going to be Brax and Pycat. Illuminate from the high ground. Will connect, and Ayesee eats that after being rooted down. The bear will be cleaned up. 23-11 following that dust up. And Misery still up and standing. He's going to spot Kabu. Spins his Burrow Strike. Might have to use Sandstorm. He's going to be disruptive, but here comes his teammates. And Misery will be cleaned up, and now Brax ready to re-engage. Brax 2 seconds away from having his Omni Slash, but not enough mana. Landham's going to be forced to back out, as well as Luo. Roche still up and standing. He's at about half health. Has been at about half health forever. This healing ward now, a big factor for Brax. Allows them to do this, and there's nothing that Rattlesnake can do about it. Rattlesnake ahead by 13 kills. And looks like we had a lag spike, but looks like we're also good to go now. And LGD going to get themselves a Roshan. Hard-fought Roshan. The gold and the experience still moving the direction of Rattlesnake. But getting that Aegis, a very big deal for them. And what has got to be worrisome now, if you're in the shoes of Rattlesnake, is you are not going to have access to buybacks for the most part for the next few minutes. Kunkka, 2 minutes, 30 seconds out. The gold on the supports is just not there. The buybacks have already been spent. The gold is not available for the moment. Now, if LGD decides to push off of this, once everything is off of cooldown and they can take a one fight, that could be Rax. And this is really just what a Lone Druid gives you. It's why you fear a Lone Druid. It's why you don't want to let the game go too long. Lone Druid is... There are a couple of heroes like this. Animage is one. Lone Druid is one. Tiny is one. These heroes that if you are not in position to buy back as a team and get back on the field to defend your tier 3 after you lose a tier 2 tower, they will just take your Rax. They will be able to push and have so much punching power once they get a few core items up. They become such a huge liability. And buybacks become a very big part of the game. Still getting a little bit of lag. Hopefully the players aren't experiencing it quite like I am. They actually put that Aegis onto God. And God, who went a hybrid build, pure hybrid. Treads, mech, drums. Very solid for him. And I really don't mind that at all. Getting the drums up. Skipping the 4 staff, not the biggest deal in the world. Gives him a lot more stat gain, much better survivability. Misery, following his buyback and his death, he was very close to Blink Dagger. And now, still 1,000 gold away. 1437's got 1,700 gold in the bank. Again, most likely headed for Pipe. Now, Pipe's a big item for them. for a number of reasons. I mean, one, the lineup of Rattlesnake does not want to deal with the pipe. They just simply do not want to have to cope with that. They are very magic damage reliant once again. They're getting a decent amount of right-click coming out of Kunkka now just because of how far ahead he became. And Queen of Pain is right there with him, but the Lone Druid is closing that gap now. Still yet, 4 of the top 5s belong to Rattlesnake in terms of pure net worth. So don't get me wrong, Rattlesnake is ahead here. But just the virtue of LGD International's lineup means it's going to get stronger the later the game goes. Even the Juggernaut arguably has more late-game carry potential than the Kunkka does, depending on what he wants to build. He did opt to get drums, by the way, which I don't think that's a surprise. I thought that was going to be a pretty typical item pickup for him here. What he picks up after is really the more interesting thing to watch for. But not just because of the magic damage output coming out of Rattlesnake is that pipe going to be a very clutch item, but the ability to push with a pipe popped. I mean, a pipe is just such an essential item in terms of trying to crack a tier 2 or a tier 3, tier 3 especially. Speaking of tier 2, Rattlesnake gets a free one in bottom, extending their gold lead, looking so good. But some very important items about to be complete now for LGD International. 1,400 gold in the bank of Pie Caddies, getting close to that Maelstrom. Should have it soon. We see that they are beginning to run much closer together now, much more tight-knit in the way that they're occupying space on the map. Magnus actually picked himself up a Vanguard. I like this a lot better, actually, than BKB coming out on Magnus for the most part. At this, I mean, given the lineup, I mean. Not necessarily in general. I mean, for the cost, BKB, much more cost-efficient item than a Vanguard and what it gives you throughout all stages of the game. But, given what they're up against, and given the window of time that they have to be feeling pressured by, getting that up, guaranteeing that it does come out, instead, unlike a BKB, which can seem to take forever on a Magnus in a lot of cases. BKB is one of those items where you try to build it on a Magnus, and a lot of times you wind up with like an Ogre Club and a recipe in your inventory, and you can never just finish that Mithril Hammer. You know, you buy the recipe because you're about to die, because you can't afford the Mithril Hammer, and then you just spend forever banking up gold trying to get that Mithril Hammer done. And that's just, that tends to be how it feels. Going Vanguard here gives him a little bit more survivability. And it's something he could build in pieces. Something that he was going to be able to afford almost guaranteed at any given stage of the game. And again, given that it is now 30 minutes in, that gold lead is considerable. Over 10,000 for them, 15,000 experience. But LGD International's lineup is going to begin to feel a lot different right about now. The pipe is done on SAG now. And that's essential for no other reason than the Illuminate coming out of Keeper of the Light. It is worth saying that 1437 has landed some pretty good Illuminates all game long. He has played a good Keeper of the Light. So having that to mitigate Epicenter from Sand King. Sand King, I think, just picked his Blink Dagger up. He did. Now that is clutch. That is something Misery has been craving this entire game. The poor guy has whiffed on Epis. Even the one he hit down near the Roche pit, he went in and he just kind of had to walk away from it because he was going to wind up dead if he stood for the full duration and he couldn't afford to die. So that item, very important for them. And now, with these items done, they're ready to roll. Taking a look at the Druid. Maelstrom's still not done. A little surprised they're moving out before the Maelstrom's done, but they do have to defend their tier 2. Here comes the TPN. Rattlesnake still hanging. They may hang around just too long, and here we go. Drum's going to be popped. Sag's going to be the one to spot it. There's a disruption on him. God's in position. Kabu to the north. He found the entire team. Now the Burrow Strike's going to come in. God's in trouble. Silence goes off. Epicenter is connecting and doing good damage. Illuminate connects as well. And now Brax chopping wood on Sag. There's a vacuum that's going to get him. RP follows up and gets Brax. The Panda locked in place as well. 25 to 11. Buybacks coming out. And Rattlesnake trying to take this fight in convincing fashion. And there's Misery to bail his buddy out. He got the whole team. Got 4 out of 5, actually. Landon not caught there. Misery looking for help. Here comes Pycap back and ready to fight. Blinding Light will connect. But Rattlesnake coming out ahead here. LGD International not really realizing how tenuous that situation was. God played a little too brave there. He got way out in the woods and all of a sudden realized he was surrounded. He was in a snake pit. And this tier 2 just about to drop now. We're going to see a surge on Sag. He's looking for a target. God's going to be the target. There's the Ion Shell, and God will be cleaned up, no doubt about it. Here comes the Ghost Ship as well. And Rattlesnake is just running them off of their own tower. The execution really lacking from LGD International there. God had a good silence, but the synergy between the heroes, I just didn't feel it at all. The damage output, not where it needed to be. And we can see the Golden experience continues to climb higher and higher in favor of the underdog Rattlesnake squad. 32 minutes in, 37 kills on the board. And LGD International beginning to run out of real estate. They don't have any outer tier towers remaining. 3 outer tier towers remain for Rattlesnake. Queen of Pain has completed her Scythe of Ice. Very important item in being able to bring down the Lone Druid. And looking at the supports, looking at everyone on the side of Rattlesnake right now, their inventories are filling up. Magnus has 1,800 gold in his inventory as well. If he wants to go ahead and go for a BKB, he could even pick up a Perseverance on the way to a Refreshers if he wanted to, just in one shot. We'll see. Luo has kind of been playing, and I mean, this is not super rare, but seeing the Yules come out first on the Queen of Pain, a brilliant choice. Scythe of Ice now, though, is when she's going to start to feel a little bit scary, like she usually would. And Brax going to town on this Ancient. Oh, they are going to turn north, so Brax not going to be spotted out. Good for him. Up, he might. He makes it to the high ground. Wow, they actually spin the RP, and that does lock him down momentarily. He's going to try to TP away. Not going to be able to do so. They get the pick on Brax. Roche back up in about 5 minutes, give or take. Rattlesnake, not going to try to push the base towers off of that yet. Not going to try to push the tier 3s. Just going to take that kill for what it was and move back out. Continuing to extend their lead. They're up to 15,000 gold now. 20,000 experience now their lead. And a game that has been all about execution. Rattlesnake has been one step ahead of LGD International. God on his way to a BKB has his Ogre Club moving in that direction. Pycat and the Bear still staying in range for the top 5. Oh, now they're going to catch the Panda. Oh, very good recall there out of Pycat, getting his buddy back to safety. Maelstrom is done. 4 out of the top 5 net worth on the board all belong now to Rattlesnake. Pipe, not quite done on 1437. Actually, he just got a 4-staff. That surprises me considerably, actually. That is really surprising to me. In the meantime, Pipe would help them so much. I'm really just kind of dumbfounded that they would not get a Pipe. Down here at bottom, Pycat and Misery looking to get some kind of something going. Luo showing his face. Has help in the woods just in the north. Brax now. Still not a whole lot to report other than having his drums. Keeper of the line will be able to TP Pycat back to safety. And back to Kabu. He's got 2,300 gold in the bank, and everyone beginning to bank for buybacks. Daedalus complete on Ayesee, so he is hitting crazy hard. He's hitting for 250 damage, give or take, before Empower. After Empower, plus the bonus damage of Shadow Blade, he's going to seriously be able to blow up Keeper of the Light in one shot. That's not an exaggeration. 1437 might get blown up in one shot here if he's focused down by the Kunkka. And Ayesee has made this work. Misery, still sitting on just tier 1 boots, does have that blink, still has had it. But the defensive position now out of LGD beginning to show itself. I mean, we can see, other than Misery kind of being out here in no man's land, LGD spending the majority of their time back up under their tier 3s, and for good reason. Queen of Pain's going to spot out a double damage rune, and we'll see them begin to move down that way. Roche going to be the next target for sure. And we can see the countdown will wind itself down. Chunk, Happy New Year. Happy New Roche. This could be a game-deciding fight here. LGD needs to get into position if they want to challenge this. This Roche is not going to last long. Not with a double damage rune on Ayesee. I mean, yeah, look. Critted for 1,000 there. They're not going to be able to challenge this. This is kind of shocking, actually. Not even going to try. They're going to smoke up, but the battle's lost. That's a free Aegis in the inventory of Ayesee. And they're going to be out before they can even react. Major misstep from LGD. Lack of vision killing them. And obviously that's due to the gem that's been picked up by Lanham. But still. And now, yep, they're going to go ahead and engage on God. There's Sonic Wave, only going to catch one. Can they get him? God gets the silence off. Now the re-engagement. Mech go off on both sides. Here comes the epicenter doing good damage, but not enough. Just not enough damage. Kabu is being focused down for the moment. Will spin his RP, but got nothing but the bear with it. Nothing but the panda. Ayesee still up and fighting. Illuminate will do good damage, and so far stringing this out is going the way of LGD. Buyback has come out of God. There's a vacuum, though, to help clean one up. Brack's now in trouble. Aegis is popped. The Veil Boat will live up to its title. Lanham charging back out. God right back up, though. Use his last word on Lanham. Lanham goes Scepter. Sag now going to be burrow struck by Misery. Here comes Ayesee, fresh off the respawn. Wow! Double, triple kill, actually. He got everyone with that one big crit. Make it an ultra kill and make it a game 3, I would think. Ayesee rolled into what looked to be a one fight anyway. Swung that sword. Got himself an ultra kill and will get himself a set of racks now. 33-12. This game all but decided. It's all over but the crying. And Rattlesnake, yep, there come the GGs. Rattlesnake showing why they are one of the most buzz-generating teams in Asia right now. A team that had not seen play in its current iteration until mere weeks ago. They got past Orange. They beat MUFC. And now pushing LGD International to a Game 3, pushing them to the limits here in Phase 3 of the G-1 Champions League Asia Qualifiers. Fantastic squad with all the upside in the world, and LGD International's got to be scratching their head right now. There's really only so many ways to say it, and really the most accurate way to say it is to just call it how it is, man. LGD International got outplayed. I felt like they had a good lineup that could deal with the picks of RS. But the execution, just not there, and Rattlesnake rolls to a 38-minute, 53-second win, 33-12. And a pretty lopsided one at that. I'm Ayesee, and you're here on One More Game TV2. You're watching the G1 Champions League Asia Qualifiers Phase number 3. LGD International versus Rattlesnake. Rattlesnake knots it up. We're going to a Game 3. Game 3 of this best of 3 heading your way next. Stick with us here on One More Game TV2. Be right back.